It's a lot of challenges, man, but I just thank God that there's a name that I can call. Oh, give thanks to the Lord. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people.
I call him Jesus.
That's his name.
Jesus. That's the name. That's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. That's the name. It's always problems. Life isn't fair. I'm screaming drama. It's like nobody cares. When I need a savior and I'm in prayer, there's only one name, nothing compares. So I declare that I'm gonna be one who claims authority. I will fear no evil things, for I know that he's with me. It's not just what I believe. Lord, I know you're breaking chains. Anytime I'm feeling bound, I will just call on your name. That name is Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. That's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. Yes, that's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. That's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. Yes, that's the name. See, this is faith time, 'cause it may seem hard, but I know my God, he's done it before. I call the main line and then I'm restored. Now all my passion, now it can be towards giving Jesus every ounce of thanks. Wave my hands and give him praise. Holy, holy, we proclaim. Worthy is the Lamb who's slain. I'm not worthy of your grace, but I'm glad you're breaking chains. Anytime I'm feeling bound, I will keep calling your name. That name is Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. That's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. Yes, that's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. That's the name. I call him Jesus. Jesus. That's the name. Yes, that's the name. Say he rose. He saves. He rose. He saves. Say he rose. He saves. Yes, he rose. And he saves. He rose. He saves. He rose. Yes, he saves. Jesus rose. He saves. He rose. He saves. He's Jesus. Jesus. Call him Jesus. Jesus. When I need him, I can call him. He's always there. Nobody like him. Call him Jesus. In the morning and in the noonday. He's my healer. He's my provider. He's my way maker. He's my savior. He's everything that I need. I call him Jesus. Everybody Jesus.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Vada from IsHeARealOne Radio, and I am here with the very first Big Little Bro segment. That's right, Big Little Bro segment. This is episode number 1. I don't think I'll be counting them as we air them, but I don't mind counting this one because this is the very first one. And with the Big Little Bro segments, this is the segments where we'll be having some loving conversations that might be tough, depending on the topic, depending on the thoughts that are going to be shared. The topics may feel a little bit challenging for us to listen to, but that's because I am your little bro, but I'm your big little bro. So I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I think in love. I'm going to tell you what I think you need to hear in love. All right. That's what we're going to do. So before we get into our topic today, first, I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. All right. I want to ask you to hit the like button I want to ask you to hit the share button, okay? And I certainly want to ask you to hit that subscribe button if you have not already done so. We are trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by August 15th, and we need your subscription in order to do that. So go ahead, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell also so that you can be notified anytime we have a new video, a new live, a new interview, etc. on YouTube. So thank you so much for handling that. Make sure you hit like. Oh, and also leave a comment. Even if all you do is just leave a thumbs up, say good job, even just leave some prayer emojis. Just leave a comment, okay? It helps us with the algorithm, and it helps YouTube keep this video on the forefront so more people can see it. All right. So that's what I'm asking you to do. And now let's check out the content. So what are we talking about on today? We are talking about how I deal with others impacts my marriage, or how I deal with others will impact my marriage if I'm not yet married. So what is your big little bro talking about? So first of all, come on in the room, close the door. Big little bro want to holla at you. All right. So what am I talking about? How I deal with others impacts my marriage or my marriage life. Now, or how I treat others, rather. How I treat others is how I will treat my marriage. How I treat others is how I do treat my marriage. What do I mean by that? Now, of course, it isn't exactly the same, nor should it be. How we treat our wife or our husband should not be exactly how we treat everyone else. But my point in saying this is that marriage exposes a lot of what our skills are and what our skills are not. Because we are so intertwined with someone and being committed to doing life with someone, marriage is an opportunity to expose what we do well and what we don't do so well. So in cases of conflict resolution, understanding someone else's opinion, giving charity and trying to understand someone's opinion, listening to someone with the purpose to respond, or listening to someone with the purpose to actually understand, and then that informing my response. All of that stuff is things that we have an opportunity to do with image bearers outside of our marriage, whether we're married or not. And if we are married, or if we ever get married, it's going to be magnified. That skill set is going to be magnified in your marriage. So if you lack it outside of your marriage, odds are you're going to lack it in your marriage as well. And trust me, I don't got to know him or her to know that he or she is not going to like it. And one of the things that we need to understand is that we don't just wake up and start being good at something because we care. That's not how human beings are. All right. I'm not going to work hard at the job that I love consistently if I'm not able to work hard at the job that I dislike consistently. Now, you might work harder at the job that you love because you care. You might work harder, especially when you first start. But as far as consistency is concerned, odds are you are going to be you. You are who you are. If I'm disloyal, if I can't be trusted in small things, I can't be trusted in big things. If I'm not responsible with $300, I'm not going to be responsible with $3,000. Just because I have more money, it doesn't mean that I'm now all of a sudden going to have good spending habits, that I'm now going to evaluate where every single dollar goes. I'm going to give every single dollar a name, and I'm going to go, okay, well, here's money's going to go. Now I got more money, so I'm a better spender. I'm a better steward of money. Just like scripture said, okay, be faithful with little, you can be trusted with much more, right? So what we are talking about right now is, who are we and what skill sets do we have or don't we have? Because if I treat people in hostile situations or in scenarios with conflict like I don't want to hear them, I just cut them off, I don't listen, I think I'm right, and that's it, that's all, the odds are I'm going to do that in a romantic relationship, and I'm going to do that in marriage. Just because I might have stronger feelings for my spouse or have an understanding that my spouse is my spouse, it doesn't mean that I'm going to suddenly be better at that skill set just because I'm married. That is not how it goes. So another thing that we should think about in this point is that when it comes to conflict resolution and it is not pertaining to marriage, sometimes we can just tolerate people for a little bit and then go on about our life so it doesn't get exposed as much. So say you got a little bit of beef with somebody at work. Okay, this is a few hours out of the day. Do I really need to talk to you all the time? I'll just tolerate you. Maybe I'll give you a little attitude. Maybe I won't. If I don't give you a little attitude, again, I'm just tolerating you for a few hours until I'm able to go back to my desk and do my own thing, or until I get off work and then I'm able to go back to my real life. Or God forbid, you doing ministry with somebody who you got beef with. Same thing. Are you doing business with somebody that you kind of got beef with? What is your conflict resolution like? What is your temperament like when it comes to working towards a common goal with someone who you are not seeing eye to eye with? How are you in that situation? Do you do it well? And let me tell you something. Your opinion actually isn't the opinion that matters. What do they think? Once you ask the person that you got a little bit of beef with, how do you deal with beef? How do you deal with conflict resolution? Once you ask them, do you think they're going to say something crazy? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know the person that you got beef with, but I do know that your willingness to hear their feedback, whether it's right or wrong, will positively impact how you are as a spouse, because your spouse is going to need that from you. By the way, I didn't do this in the intro. No, I'm not a therapist. No, I'm not a psychiatrist or anything like that, but I am Big Little Bro and I love you. So I'm sharing my thoughts right now. All right. And the thing is, we really need to understand that how we treat image bearers that we are not married to is practice for how we can and will treat the image bearer that we are married to if we do ultimately get married. Going back to the point that I was making about just tolerating people for a few hours out of the day. Same thing if it's family or friends. Maybe I'll only see you during holidays, or maybe I'll only see you. Oh man, I popped up to mom's house. I popped up to Uncle so-and-so's house and you're here. I'll just go to the other room. Maybe I'll just do this. Maybe I'll just do that. But there is not a barrier that's broken as it pertains to this relationship at all. Why is that? If I'm not able to do that, and I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy for me. It's hard. It's people who are on my mind who I can do a better job at communicating with, and I think they wrong. And we're going to get to that soon. That's going to be my closing, when they're 100% wrong. Because it's not just, okay, I can examine myself. Yeah, I could have done this a little better. You could have done that a little better, but I get why you did it that way. That is important in all relationships as well, especially marriage, but also when someone is 100% wrong and you're 100% right. It ain't really no two sides to this story. But guess what? If you do get married, or if you are married, that's going to be the case sometimes too. So how do you deal with that? But before we get there, I just want to finish the point about the family and friends thing, or working with someone, or doing business with someone, or whatever the scenario may be, as far as, I don't really like you, or I don't really like what you did or what you said. And how am I able to work with you towards a common goal? And does it feel fake? Does it feel like it's tension? How am I able to kill this tension? This matters. And again, if I'm not able to do this as a non-married person, I'm not going to be able to do it as a married person. And if I am able to do it as a married person, then I have the skill set to do it at all times, because at the end of the day, we are who we are, period. So when it comes to just tolerating people, we don't want to have that skill set where I'm just tolerating you for a few hours. I really don't like you. We really don't get along. Yeah, it's tension, but I'm just tolerating you until this conversation's over. I'm just tolerating you until we get off work. Because if that's your skill set, that is going to be a very unhealthy and possibly a very unhappy marriage when you just tolerate someone in marriage. We ought to brush up on our skills in conflict resolution, in hearing people, and understanding what I can do better. And even if I am right, that I go about being right the right way, did I go about being right the wrong way? We can't do that because we are humans and we are imperfect. So again, how I treat others is how I will treat my marriage. How I treat others is how I do treat my marriage. Now, what about, if you are married, and you're evaluating or just tolerating your spouse, or I'm sorry. So let's go to the honest analysis of if someone is 100% wrong. Let's go there. Let's talk about if I am in a situation where, okay, it's not really a whole lot for me to examine here, I don't think, because I am actually right in this scenario. I'm actually right, bro. I'm actually right, sis. If you saw the whole thing, if it was a hidden camera and you heard the whole conversation, you heard the whole argument, you would go, yeah, Vada's right. Yeah, you're right. How you can still be wrong even when you're right. How you go about being right. And so what I'm trying to articulate is, if someone is completely wrong, how are you treating them? Does that mean now I can cut you off? Just because, I'm actually right in this situation and you're actually wrong. Does that mean, yeah, I can cut you off? Yeah, I can talk to you with attitude now. Yeah, I can treat you like a second class citizen. Yeah, I can do all of these things to you. Is that what that means? Because it isn't. That's not how God treats us. That's not how Jesus treats us when we're wrong. And we're wrong a lot, even after we get saved. First of all, Christ died for us while we were still sinners, while we were yet sinners. That's Romans 5:8. Christ died for us. Wow. And we keep sinning after we got saved. And he is still there loving us. And if you a husband, you can think about the passage that says, hey, husbands, love your wives the way that Christ loves the church. Wow, that's deep. Because how does Christ love the church? The body of Christ, a bunch of human beings who are saved by the blood of Jesus. Those are a bunch of people who are imperfect. And Jesus is like, hey, I love you. And I'm not making you feel like I'm giving you a hug out of, out of, where it's really negative energy. No, Jesus is really like, man, I love you. And you need this hug. I know you're wrong. And I know you need this hug. I know you need my presence. That's what us husbands ought to do to our wives. So do we have that skill set, my fellow image bearers who's watching this? Do we have that skill set to have charity, to have grace for someone when they are completely in the wrong? Now, am I saying go be everybody's friend? Am I saying forgive everyone and rekindle every single relationship? Yes, we should forgive, even though it's a very hard thing to do. But no, I'm not saying you need to text everybody all the time and be everybody's best friend. But I am saying that our ability to minimize, or better yet, erase the tension, it really matters. A lot of times people say, hey, forgiveness isn't for the other person, it's for you. But it really is for you, and it's for your spouse. And if you're a married person and you think, man, I do this well with my spouse, I don't know what Vada talking about. I do it well with my spouse, but other people can kiss my butt. Guess what? I find that hard to believe, number one. But secondly, let's say you're right. I grant that to you. I guarantee you that you will be better at it if you're able to do the same thing to people who you are less committed to, because it's about you and your characteristics and your habits and your skill set. You can apply that anywhere. So even if you are able to do that with your spouse in a way that you guys are comfortable with, if you are able to do that with other image bearers that you aren't married to, you're going to be even better at doing it with your spouse. And that's going to make a happier spouse. It's going to make you a better spouse, better at showing grace, better at showing charity, better at being forgiving. A good spouse is a good forgiver. A good spouse is a good forgiver. So how I treat others is how I treat my marriage. And even me, I'm a married man. At the time I've recorded this video, I've been married for about 4.5 years. And check this out. There's going to be times where I don't think I'm right as it pertains to conversations or a disagreement with my wife. There's going to be times where I know I'm right, where it's like, look, like I said a few minutes ago, if it's a secret, if it's a camera, everybody and their mama is going to watch it and go, yeah, Vada's right here. He got a point. Or if there's at least going to be most people, 98% of people, Vada's right and his wife Rhea is wrong. Guess what? Do that mean I can just cut her off? Not if I want to be a good husband. Not if I want to be a good spouse. So all you jacked up people out there who I might run into and I might think you wrong for how you text me, how we had an encounter. I might think you wrong. You know, I might know you're wrong. I might know you're wrong, bro. Like, nah, you wrong. You wrong for that. You wrong for coming at me like that. You wrong for your approach there. But am I able to show you grace? Am I able to kill the tension there? I'm not successful all the time, but I view, and I was talking kind of sarcastic when I said, all you jacked up people out there. But seriously, all you image bearers who I might find frustrating, in my honest opinion, I might think you're frustrating. You image bearers are great practice for how I'll treat the image bearer that I'm committed to spending the rest of my life with. So how I treat others is how I will treat my spouse. How I treat others is how I do treat my spouse. So this is your big little bro talking to you. And I want you to consider this. If you are a person who are not married, but you hope to be married, think about this. Think about how you deal with issues where there's conflict. Think about how you deal with issues where people are wrong. Are you able to evaluate yourself? You know, how do you do it? How do you receive that feedback? Think about the scenarios where no, it ain't no two sides to the story. I'm actually right. How do you deal with that? How do you handle that? Because trust me, if you get married like you say you want to, there's going to be times where you swear up and down that your spouse is wrong and you are right. How do you deal with that? You can still be a bad spouse in being right. And I don't want that for you as your big little bro. And again, if you are already married, think about this. Are you having trouble in your marriage? What is your skills like in this area when it comes to conflict, when it comes to listening and hearing and responding? What is it like? What is it like? And maybe if you don't just think about how you do it with your spouse, how are you doing it with others? Matter of fact, if you're married, once you ask your spouse, hey, how do you think I do with conflict resolution? And be ready to hear whatever they say. Make it a safe space for them to critique you because they're your spouse. I'm trusting them that they love you. All right. And I recommend therapy. Go holla at an actual therapist. I champion therapy. All right. Premarital therapy, counseling, while you're married, and not necessarily just because you're having problems. I always say maintenance is a whole lot cheaper than repairs. So even if y'all cool, still go see a professional to help guide y'all through how you guys think and work through things with each other. All right. And if you're single, work on therapy on your own. If you're dating, if you guys are courting, if you guys are just courting each other, you know, and there's no engagement yet, but you guys are dating, go to therapy together. Why not? If marriage is something you guys are working towards, go. That's what I say. Because again, how I treat the person who is not my spouse is how I would treat the person who is my spouse, or a heck of a lot close than I might think. So your big little bro has hollered at you. I thank you so much for listening. Tune in next time. Peace.